Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politic on the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network. Pastor Toby, Chuck Knox on the water boy, and we got Canadian in the house. Now, this isn't our first Canadian. He's standing up. This is a very Christian anthem.
Yeah.
Incredibly Christian anthem. So especially once you get down to verse 4.
The last verse.
You're killing it.
Yep.
You're killing it.
I did not expect that. I was like, where's that coming from? I control the sound here.
And it just started. It just started.
Somebody, that must have been you,
Pastor
Carter.
Andrew DiBartolo. Is that Carter?
Oh, I was looking around like, what is going on?
This is the problem when you give other people the
over.
control.
Canada is taking over. I did not like that.
COVID is back. The worst variant. What variant? We're B5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is back.
But before that, we need to stop and take a moment to talk about the Fight Laugh Feast Club membership.
Ooh,
that's kind of important.
You just put them on the hold.
By joining the Fight Laugh Feast army, not only will you be aiding in our fight to take down secular and legacy media.
That's right.
But you also
and
get
Daily
access,
Wire Plus.
And you also get access to content placed in our club portal, such as past shows, all our conference talks, and exclusive content for club members that you won't be able to get anywhere else. Almost every day we go backstage.
That's right.
At the end of the show. It's usually us talking. Sometimes it's our guests. Today it's going to be Andrew.
With us, that's right, backstage.
Lastly, you also get discounts at all our conferences. So if you've got $10 a month to kick over our way, you can sign up now. Join the army at flfnetwork.com.
Toby's talk at the conference this year is serrated gospel. Serrated gospel. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited that's what we assigned you.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere. We're like, but don't forget about the conference. You just almost did a whole other ad read right there.
Is that discounting Canadian or American dollars?
Oh.
American dollars.
That's like $300 Canadian.
There you go. That's beautiful.
So Canadians, join today. It's like losing money if you're not a member.
Right.
All right. The worst variant's upon us. Roll the clip.
If you look at that map, let's put it up again. It shows how the whole country is in red. And that's just the cases that we know about,
it's
since
red.
I said a lot of people aren't testing. What is going on with this new variant, doctor?
Well, it's about as contagious as measles. And it has the most immune evasion of any variant we've seen. And, while sort of a lot of people claim victory in February and municipalities dropped their mitigation mask mandates, the virus kept mutating. And it mutated and it mutated. And now there's BA5.
Whoa.
And our vaccines aren't really very good, with preventing you from getting infected.
Oh.
Thankfully and luckily, they're still really good at preventing you from getting super sick or needing to be hospitalized.
We got more
or
data
even
on that
dying.
later.
So our vaccines have really held for that, but they haven't really held very well now for infection. And if you have not had COVID in the past, and you go into a crowded place now, you are likely to come out with BA5.
So here's the deal. First of all, shout out to our club members. We aren't on YouTube. We aren't going to play this on YouTube because we're going to be going through COVID today.
Yeah.
So we're going to do something different on YouTube
Saying
today.
lots of bad words.
Yeah. But
COVID.
secondly, they throw up the red map.
Yeah.
With no scale.
No scale.
Take that back, Carter. Just go right to the map part.
Just hold the pause on the.
Can you? Oh, you can't do it from there. Okay.
If you look at that map, let's put it up again. It shows how the whole country is in red.
There we go. Right there. Hit pause. Hit pause. Yeah. Super scary.
No scale.
What do you mean high? How much is high? Is it 1 to 100?
It doesn't
Is it
matter.
1 to 1,000? Is it 1 to 1,000,000?
Yeah.
You see the low area? Low ain't even on there.
Yeah,
Low ain't
low.
even on there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't even on there. That's all you need to know. It don't matter ratio. It ain't even on
It's
there.
just high.
Yeah.
It's just high is on there. That's
high.
it. It's high.
So now we're
scared.
Now we're at variant B5.
B5.
How did we get into that?
I don't even
That's like
know.
a vitamin, isn't it? Is it B5 vitamins?
No, that's B12.
Yeah, B12.
There's got to be a B5 vitamin somewhere.
I also thought it was funny because he said we declared victory back in, what did you say, January or February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we declared victory around here, back in 2020.
2020. We were 2020. Yeah.
We had like 2 weeks, we were like, what's going on? And then we were like, oh, never mind.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's a bad cold.
Yeah.
I mean,
So then here's what Fauci. The media is starting to talk about it this week. In the last couple
It
weeks,
is
actually,
coming
it's coming
everywhere.
back, and I think that's part of it. And we're going to talk about this with Andrew here. We actually got a
but it's
couple
not
Canadian
really.
clips
It's
coming
not,
up.
It's not coming back. The narrative is coming
The
back.
narrative's coming back. That's the big point.
Yeah.
But here's what Fauci is saying about it right now.
So if you have not received a shot in 2022, how much has your immunity waned? considerably. I mean, the thing that is important to note is that immunity against infection wanes pretty quickly, and it goes way, way down. What we've been fortunate is that the immunity against severe disease leading to hospitalization and unfortunately death in some cases tends to hold reasonably well. But it's slipping where it was up to 90, 80, then it goes down to 70, 75, 65, and 50. Then you're really in a situation where you really do need a boost. And we know when you get out 6, 7 months or so, we're now in July, we're in the 7th month of the year. Most people who have not received a booster this year have a diminished immunity.
Everything that we know about virology has been out the window with Fauci, Dr. Birx, what's going on in Canada coming up.
Right.
Everything we know about virology is out of the deal. And then now the vaccine. It's the same thing. They aren't even they're talking about like it's a refill.
Right.
Not a boost.
Well, but everything they're also talking about is like they have created a lot of these variants by the vaccines.
That's true.
Yeah. And then what he's talking about in terms of immunity fading, he's talking about immunity provided by the vaccines.
Right.
He's not talking about natural immunity. He's not like which goes back to what we know about virology, what we knew, for decades, longer, until about 5 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, and even if he is, what happens when you get these type of variants that they become weaker.
Right.
So they don't.
That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. So you have a weaker as far as how bad the infection is, even though you might get it through transmission.
Right.
So we got what was it, Omicron or was it Omicron or Delta? One of them broke past the natural immunity. So because of the mutation of the vaccine. So you can. It's very possible somebody with who has an immunity to it
natural
can get it again.
immunity can still get it again.
But that was like a cold. Right. It was like a cold.
Yeah, it spreads like measles, but what's it like?
But here's
What's it like?
Remember when the whole mask mandate was removed and everybody was flying on the planes and all the videos came out, everybody cheering and
crying,
and everybody emotionally was like, I'm so happy, and and pilots are crying as they're over the loudspeaker. We're so happy to be able to see your faces again. I wasn't happy because I was thinking to myself, every last one of y'all didn't want to wear this mask.
Yeah.
Every last one of y'all.
Yeah.
And you made everybody wear it.
And y'all did?
Yeah.
Like no one pushed back in any kind of way. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Y'all went around here and act crazy, act like you want to shut stuff down again and put the mask on. I'm smacking every last one of y'all. I'm smacking all y'all. I'm making my life's journey to smack every last one of y'all.
With a crock.
I was going to say with a crock. That was my one.
But you know what? Because the problem isn't the fact that Fauci is saying this. That he's not the problem. The problem is that we
listen.
How does he still got a
out
podium?
Of fear and operate.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this yesterday when we talked about Professor Bridges talking to Senator Hawley.
Right.
Hawley was Gabe's messing me
Hawley,
up.
yeah.
Hawley, see, I listened to you.
Hawley.
A-W makes an aw sound. We're going to go back to phonics
and
here.
It wasn't that.
It's awful.
It wasn't what she said was as crazy and as it seemed, and it was. What was crazy was that nobody got up and put her in a straitjacket and hauled her off.
Right. She still got her job.
She still has her job.
Right. Probably tenured.
And that she was taken seriously and allowed to sit there and have the rest of the conversation. It's not always what happens in the moment. Will Smith smack. Yeah. We learned something else about society. It wasn't that he got him and smacked Chris Rock. Like that was a problem. The massive problem was the rest of the culture didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, hey, get him out of here. He's done.
It's almost like Jordan Peterson sitting down and talking to Dave Rubin about marriage.
See,
gay parenting.
I mean, there you go. That's like nobody hauled Peterson out of there in a straitjacket.
Yep. So, you know how our joke about the church, what the world does, the church will do 10 years later and worse.
Yeah.
America's kind of like that with Canada. So Canada.
Which way does it go?
I know.
It's changing now.
It's getting more confusing. But Canada's media is also talking about this. And Andrew, you're gonna have to tell us who's talking here.
And also, you're probably going to have to interpret it because they're speaking like Canadianese.
They're speaking in tongues.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so got to have interpretation.
People from foreign tongues will come and destroy you. Isn't that the prophecy in Isaiah?
It is.
We don't speak so good totalitarianism, so you have to translate.
We'll make it happen. So this is Jean-Yves Duclos. This is our federal health minister.
Ooh,
Let me be very clear.
He's not wearing a dress.
Up to date means you've received your last dose in the past 9 months. If you've already received a first booster, that's great. And please see if you're eligible for a second or a third booster to remain up to date.
This is like car tabs.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
for
but
real.
for humans.
Right.
So
get your other
It's
booster.
They're going to try out boosters
It is
themselves.
certification.
So
Yeah.
if your license expires, you can't drive unless you get certified. You got to make sure you're up to date. That's dangerous stuff, right? We withhold certification for things like can't drive, can't be an engineer. Now it's can't travel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't leave your country and then come back.
Yeah.
Maybe can't go grocery shopping. It's a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's our version of whoever your Secretary of Health is.
It's our
That's
assistant.
guy.
Our assistant secretary is a dude in a dress.
Right.
Dang it.
So
I don't know who's got it worse.
Again, who's who? Hey,
I think they're
He's
winning. I think
French.
they're winning.
He's French.
Yeah, he's French. That guy's French. So I mean,
That's funny. Okay. Now roll the next clip.
Can you tell us what PHAC's assessment of the chances of a seventh wave of COVID are in the fall?
Thank you for the questions, Mr.
Seventh
Chair. I
wave.
think the pandemic is
That's our
not
Fauci.
over. And I think given the continuous evolution of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, we think that it's very likely that we will get some more viral activity in the future. And we can't predict exactly how big the next wave is, but I think we need to prepare. We need to prepare for the fall and winter season.
So that's her Fauci. That's
what
their
wave?
Fauci. Seventh wave. The seventh.
there's going to be more viral activity.
I didn't
Yeah,
know,
like all the
I
time.
didn't know we had like a third.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get past her name.
Dr. Dre?
Dr. Dre.
No,
Nowadays,
actually-
everybody
Right.
want to talk like they got
I
something to
remember
say.
that.
Nothing comes out when they move the lips, just a bunch of gibberish. Okay,
I got
that's
five
Dr.
on
Dre.
it.
I couldn't get past that part. I didn't hear anything she
It actually
said.
wasn't her name. It was on the side. I don't think that's her name.
Oh, it just said Dr. Dre on the top.
I know. I
left
saw
corner.
that too, but her name is something else.
Teresa Tam.
Teresa Tam.
Dang
is
it.
it. But I saw on the side Dr. Dre too, and I
Okay.
was like, but what's that doing on the
Okay.
screen?
So now bring up the statistics
This is
of
the
what's,
real important
what's going on in
conversation,
Canada.
Gabe.
Obviously, I'm the serious one
this
today.
is
It's a
just
little
in-
weird. This is not a
just
good
in
role for
Ontario.
me.
This
Say
is
it
the most,
again.
this is the most populous province in the country.
Ontario.
This is just at this. So this is as of today. I looked this up before the show.
Okay.
So right now in Ontario, if you look at the number of COVID patients in hospitals,
Okay.
78% of them are fully vaccinated.
That's 338 patients.
22% are unvaccinated.
Okay.
And the next one's even worse. The next one is Ontario patients in the ICU.
Okay. Intensive
With
care.
hold on, with COVID.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, in the ICU with COVID.
Okay.
Yep.
81% are fully vaccinated, 19% are unvaccinated. So everything they just said about the virus and
right,
what in the how the vaccine helps,
Right.
complete lie.
Right. Yeah. What?
It's the inversion of what
Why
they're
does
saying.
it matter?
Yeah, it
Why-
doesn't.
Right.
Where
I
did
mean,
you get these numbers from?
Right from the Ontario website. So when you go to the Government of Ontario website for COVID stats, before when it wasn't this bad, it was just pie charts and they would show the breakdown because they wanted to let everyone know, see, the vaccines are working. And then once these numbers started coming around,
They got rid of the pie charts.
they
The
changed
easy
it so
explanation.
you have to
Yeah.
go digging. So you have to click through two screens and you have to create your own graph by choosing the criteria. So I had to make you choose this and then the date, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that's way worse. That's way worse than that pie chart.
So,
goodness.
well, if this is on their site, they know this.
Right.
Why aren't they saying, "Oh, this is stupid"?
Who the people driving the narrative?
The two people we just got done watching.
Right.
Teresa. Or,
Right.
Or whatever
Dr.
her name
Dre.
is.
Teresa
Yeah.
Fauci.
Because everyone who's married to their every word and making sure that they need to be safe, they're not digging into this.
Right.
I had people, so I shared this on one of our podcasts and I shared the numbers and I didn't put the images up. And I had people reach out to me saying, I thought this was the case, but I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're looking for. It's not so easy. You have to know where to go, and there's like 10 sub menus. You got to dig for this. And so they're trusting that people aren't going to be looking at this
But
stuff.
have you showed people these numbers and they've been like, "Yeah, I don't believe it," or they still don't? Because it
The
seems
common pushback is, well, so much of the population is vaccinated, so you would expect to see many of the people in the hospital vaccinated, like that are in ICU. And then but if 85% of the country is vaccinated and 85% of the people in hospitals with the ICU are vaccinated,
Right.
that means the vaccine does zero.
It's not,
It does nothing.
Right, it does zero. And even if it wasn't, even if it was 50-50, let's say,
That's
right?
funny.
85%
Yeah,
vaccinated,
sure, but that would be the same point.
Even still,
Yeah, if it
it's
was-
supposed to work.
Right.
You want to see like a
That's funny.
huge disparity.
Right.
Not the other way around.
Right.
That's pretty bold to be able to say like we know it's not doing anything and we're gonna have it on our website
Right.
that it's not doing anything, but we really don't
But we
care.
don't care.
Because
Yeah.
Canadians are very compliant, very trusting.
Well, this is back to your masks on the airplane thing.
I'll
It's-
smack every last one of y'all.
All right, before we're going to come back in just a second and talk
about churches.
Talk about churches in Canada in
Yeah.
particular and pushing against this. But first, using a smartphone or computer opens the door to a host of digital temptations.
That's right.
In a world saturated with pornography and other harmful content like Canadian health information, what's a Christian to do? We need to take a proactive approach, welcoming transparency in our digital media choices, and accountable to you makes that easy. It's the word accountable, the number 2, the word you, Y-O-U. Their accountability software shares detailed activity reports from all your devices and your kids' devices in real time to the accountability partners that you choose. With accountability in place, your family can effectively guard against temptations online and live with purity and integrity. Learn more and try it free today at accountable2you.com/FLF. Again, that's the word accountable, the number 2, the word you.com/FLF. That tells them we sent you.
Please. So I wanted to kind of just on the first segment or the first half of the show, kind of just draw a little bit of parallel between how the U.S. and our doctors and our Fauci's talking and how their Fauci's talking about what's going on. Now, but what's the interesting thing about Canada, and I just don't think Americans understand in some sense how bad it is. Now we watched the truck driver convoy.
Yeah.
We watched the horse trample the lady and the truck driver.
Well, even before that, we
we've
saw
seen
what
some-
you guys were going through just as trying to have police come into your churches.
No, man,
But
fences
most
around the
churches
arrests.
don't know.
Right.
But that's my point. Is most Americans don't know
Still don't.
and are still apathetic
Yeah.
about
When
it.
they put
What's
the-
going
They
on?
put that fence around, what's his name's church?
James Coates'
Two
church.
fences.
Two fences.
An
And
inner
Jacob
fence
and
and
Jacob
an outer
Brown.
fence.
And Jacob
Where they
Brown's
changed
church.
the locks in his church, and then they wouldn't let him in.
New tabernacle.
Yeah.
So, but
Inner and outer
And it was
courts.
a veil too. They actually hung a tarp over
Yeah.
the inner fence so you couldn't see. So they did
Yeah,
have their,
the
their
inner,
curtain
yeah,
as well.
Holy of Holies.
Right.
that's amazing. So, but what I wanted to kind of get into, what's going on with the churches, because it all looks like Canada's going to lock down again in the fall. I mean, that's
Right.
Oh, my
and that's what they're.
Oh, my goodness.
So they're talking.
I can't be in Canada.
So our doctors
No,
are
you
talking.
can't. You can't because you don't have the jab. You literally can't be in Canada. They won't allow non-citizens in.
I've mentioned this a number of times, but I'm just going to keep saying it because that video that went one of the earliest videos when the lockdowns were happening that fall 2020, and there was that kid skating outside on an ice skating rink, and there's a
Yes.
lady cop trying to chase him down, and everybody's watching him on a camera. That's when I knew Canada was done. You can't even ice skate alone outside.
Yeah.
And you're going to let the lady cop tackle him and you're just watching? Like that, you guys are done. Canada's done. You can't ice skate.
And yet, Andrew, you're still there.
I'm still there. So before I figured I would bring you guys some gifts from a foreign land.
Oh,
Do they have any tracking devices on them?
Are they chipped?
Unless they. We'll find out. We're gonna find out in 6 months, that's for sure. But I figured I'd
Get
bring you
'em.
guys some stuff.
Yes,
so I
sir.
brought it. I brought it in a nice bag.
oh, it's
you.
Canadian bag.
It's a Canadian bag.
Yeah.
All right, you can take the bag with you though.
Yeah,
right,
that is
so-
not a good host.
All right. So
All right.
what do we got? Okay. So for Knox, this is for you.
Oh,
Maple Leaf.
There we go.
Maple Leaf.
Canada.
Toby,
We can do
Okay.
this.
this you mount this on your wall, and that's a bottle cap remover.
Hey,
That's
hey,
pretty
hey.
sweet. That's
So
pretty
Gabe,
sweet.
I thought Gabe.
Oh, homie.
Oh, look at
homie.
you.
The camo.
I'm
Hold on,
going-
it gets better.
Canadians are allowed to wear camo?
Yep. Okay, so this is special. You guys have Smarties down here, right? Smart the
Yeah,
candy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, this is the real Smarties. Okay?
Really?
These are the real Smarties.
Smarties.
So basically, think about M&Ms, but better.
And you didn't pull these out with my coffee?
These are the real Smarties. All right, hold
wow.
on. We're almost
M&Ms are
done.
better.
Okay, Smarties.
That's not
Smarties.
possible.
Look at how they smell Smarties.
Right.
But it's like
precious.
they're like M&Ms. You're saying,
Right, they're like M&Ms, but your Smarties we call rockets.
You sure
The
these
little
ain't poison?
candies.
Oh, and you call
Good, eh?
M&Ms
Right?
Smarties.
They're not poison?
No, because M&Ms are dark chocolate. This is milk chocolate. So this is like
Melt your mouth,
it's
not
so
your
good.
hands.
All right, so this isn't from Canada, but this is from my bud. So I gotta rep my boy Reed B Verses. He's a Christian hip hop artist, and he gave me some discs to give to you guys.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're into hip hop. Maybe not.
How am I supposed to play these?
I have two. You guys can fight over them.
Oh, okay.
I wore the
There
shirt
you go.
too. If anyone sees,
I need the
Sky
MP3
Dreamers.
version.
Sky Dreamers. That's his clothing line.
Okay.
I had to give him a shout out. Doug Rogers is a good dude.
How do you find out information? People want to find out about them.
So you can find him, Reed B Verses on Facebook or Sky Dreaming, skydreamers.com, skydreamersapparel.com.
B versus.
So now
I'm
here,
listening to on the way home.
this is the real.
Here's the real.
Okay, here's
Okay,
the.
so this is maple syrup
Whoa.
tapped from maple trees just north of Kingston.
So this is right out of the tree.
This is right out of the tree. This is from McAndrews Maple Farm, just north of Kingston.
You
This is the real deal,
got one of
boys.
those for
Yes,
both of us?
Jesus.
Oh,
Thank
Look at
you.
you. I got 3 in here.
Oh,
You
no.
guys-
Oh, we all got
Yeah,
even
yeah.
better.
I was just talking about me and Knox.
Come
I wasn't going to give any to game.
It's gonna be a triple blessing, not just a double
wow. Look
blessing,
at
a
that.
triple blessing.
Ooh.
That's
Is,
like
is there like a good way of mixing alcohol with this? Because I feel like they need
You don't
to go
want to
together.
cut this with nothing, man.
No, I feel like
Nothing.
I want to figure it out.
This is like already full of the spirit.
Yeah.
Just straight out of the tree.
So this is toward the end, so it's a little bit darker. It's toward the end of the season.
okay.
Does that mean it's better or?
It's all good. It's,
Okay, all right.
it's a little darker, a little richer. So I figured I'd bring some Canada to you guys because
man.
Thank
you
you.
might never be able to come to my country. So
True.
man.
enjoy.
So is this a buddy's farm?
Yeah, so a guy that I used to work with, he has
Mm-hmm.
a ton of acreage and maple trees everywhere, and so he does his own stuff. I mean, I don't want to convert it to gallons, but basically, like buckets and buckets and buckets of maple
excited.
syrup.
So, like when you baptize babies in Canada, do you
It's
use
maple
do you use
syrup.
maple syrup?
Right, yeah, and then like with the gravy from poutines, right, we do that too.
Okay, just
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, talk to us, Andrew.
back to the serious stuff.
You've been. I'm going to read your bio actually while we're finishing this. So, you're the teaching elder at Encounter Church in Kingston, Ontario, and the director of operations for the Liberty Coalition in Canada.
Yep.
How I know with the Liberty Coalition in particular, that's kind of a network where you're trying to link arms with other like-minded believers who believe in Christian freedom, the authority of Christ over all. How's that work going? Give us an update.
So we knew that this was coming.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking on Signal, we've been chatting. We knew that this was the play. We knew that this wasn't over. We knew that this reprieve was just a short-term thing, and everyone else is like, "Oh, everything's back to normal."
You mean like a new lockdown, a new phase?
Oh yeah,
a
we
new-
knew that it was going to be waves and waves, and we're calling it too. Always the fall,
Yeah.
always around Christmas, always
Right.
around the hottest time of the summer
Okay.
when everyone's inside. So we've seen this coming.
Okay.
So basically, what we're doing is we're trying to not only encourage one another, these churches are trying to equip one another, and so I was talking with Knox about this earlier. I never anticipated that getting into pastoral ministry would go to the point where we'd have to really think about self-sustaining community gardens, doing our own gardening and farming.
guys are there right now.
Oh yeah, we're there. People like serious talks about coming together to buy plots of land where you have your individual acreage and then you have a shared stuff for hunting.
Yeah.
You know, talking about all the things we need to do to not be as monitored. Bank accounts were frozen during the convoy.
Yep.
There was some information released recently that just skated under, but basically the Canadian government tracked the location of over 30 million cell phones for the COVID pandemic. There are 33 million people in Canada. You do the math, that's everyone.
Yep.
So all this information's coming out. And so what we've been trying to do as churches is get ready.
And all these cell phone companies hand over that data.
Right. So we're trying to
Right.
prepare. We're trying to encourage each other. We're
Right.
trying to think about how we can be ready
Right.
to thrive.
You know what that sounds like when you just start talking about that? It reminds me of the Pilgrims, leaving Great Britain, and going
With
to
their cell phones across the ocean. Is that what it reminds you of? Yeah.
No, not that part.
Okay.
The part about trying to find freedom.
Yep.
The part about like being willing to like basically say we're going to go into a frontier where there's nothing settled, no civilization, and take care of ourselves, provide for ourselves,
Yep.
so we can have the freedom to worship God. I mean, that's what they did. At first, they went to the Netherlands. They tried it for a few years there. It didn't work out well. And then they came back, found somebody that would take them across and come over and found Plymouth Plantation.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm just, it's in a, not as nearly, and maybe you're not quite on the grand scale as them yet, but the whole idea of like creating a little plantation, like a little, like you're going to have a little city, a community where you're trying to provide for yourselves, take care of yourselves, so you're not dependent on the outside world, and hopefully also have a little more privacy.
And we're talking about homeschool co-ops to start, but we're all talking about classical Christian schools.
Yeah. Amen.
And it's not just about because government indoctrination centers are no place to send your kids, and they're not.
That's right.
But what we're talking about is if they're going to crack down on homeschooling, which they're going to do,
right,
and if they're going to start tracking and are your kids vaccinated? We know you have 3 kids. Are they vaccinated?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Well, so we homeschool and we social distance them.
Right. But it's really about safety too. It's about a place we can send kids. We can do life as a community, and not have to worry about the prying tyrannical arms or neighbors ratting you out.
Right.
Now, and this is part of what I'm trying to get at here is that Americans largely don't know what's going on, and they still don't know what's going on the legal side of things. So Aaron Rock, he's on our network. He's got a podcast on our network. He's got all sorts of fines looming over him. Jacob Rayom, who's a good friend of ours of the show, he's got $9 million of fines waiting for him. The church has $50 million of fines waiting for him. Each elder has $3 million
I think it's $1 million
elder
each, and so Jacob's $9 million and 9 years in prison in terms of maximum penalty. The elders are $1 million and 1 year in prison, and then the church is $50 million. That's maximum penalty. They may not get the maximum.
And
they might.
And this is for having church.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
For worshiping the Lord Jesus on the Lord's day in obedience to him and defying mandates.
For telling Caesar that he has no business telling the church how to worship Christ.
Right.
That's why.
Wow.
So,
man,
we're about to go backstage, and I'm wondering, why are you guys still there? Why still be in Canada? And we'll answer that backstage, but I really want to know because
that's mean.
No,
Man,
but it's
sorry. You got to be club member.
I got to.
What?
Jesus commanded Canada to be taken.
Yeah, okay,
that's it. I'll go. All right, that's a good answer.
Okay. No, I mean it because
what do you mean?
I know.
Disciple all the nations.
The Puritans fled.
Right. Not all of them, but so I'll just say yes. But if certain people in England didn't stay, we'd have no Spurgeon, we'd have no Packer, we'd have no Martin Lloyd-Jones, we'd have no J.R. Stott. So the fact that they stayed,
where's his organ?
Right, the fact that these men stayed is the reason why there was a remnant in England, and the Lord raised up, we could all agree, some of the most influential evangelical leaders in the last 200 years, and we all benefit from these guys.
Yeah. And
we're all blessed by them.
And we could say the same thing about faithful states standing and staying in California, in Washington, New York City, right? Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Not for everybody. Not everybody has the roots. Not everybody has the community. Not everybody has the...
But I think the principle is you stay if you have a good post and community to fight from.
God's giving you an assignment. Don't give up the assignment easily.
Now, that's not the answer to why. I'll answer why, but in terms of perspective,
that's how,
if everyone left, we wouldn't have them.
If you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. If you have kids, go baptize them. Until tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. And we are officially now in Backstage.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told. We are Chris and Natalie Carpenter, owners of Story Real Estate, and our team of top agents helps people find homes in Moscow, Idaho, and around the country.
Have you thought about a move? Contact us to get connected with a top agent who shares your values and puts your family first. Or reach out to us about our Moscow relocation guide.
Wherever you're looking to go, we can help you find home. Call us at Story Real Estate or visit us at storyrealestate.com and start building your legacy.
Hi, I'm Robert Borton, CEO of Classical Conversations, the world's largest classical Christian homeschooling community. I'm launching a new podcast, Refining Rhetoric. If you like cross politics or just listen to hear what crazy stuff they're saying today, you will enjoy Refining Rhetoric. You can find us on your favorite podcast platform. I practice the 15 tools of learning by interviewing great guests looking at current events and talking about cryptocurrency.